Millions entered the divine realm classless, unable to gain a single level. Yang Ling survived with a weapon everyone underestimated, a miner's pickaxe. It opened collapsed tunnels and reached places elite warriors could not. Deep underground, that advantage led him toward the priceless Water Bod. Consuming it raised every martial technique on his status panel. 3 hours later, Yang Ling had climbed 3 entire levels. His rivals were still fighting monsters, spies, and each other. Now the mountains, frozen immortal, threatened to bury every survivor alive. The current crisis began when a giant frost bear returned, carrying the wounded beast tamer Qilin. It dropped her 15 meters away, gave Yang Ling a final glare, and ran toward the cave entrance. The bear had honored their deal, although its teeth had left Qilin barely conscious. The frost bear's retreat also removed the only creature capable of confirming whether Qilin had obeyed her employers. Several wounds covered her body, and the deepest cut had stopped dangerously close to her heart. Yinrua pressed a blade against the prisoner's throat and demanded her name, family, and allegiance. Qilin claimed her wrong family had merely accepted payment to control several bears inside the mountain. Yinrua controlled the interrogation while Yang Ling watched every answer for inconsistencies and delayed reactions. Yang Ling knew that excuse could not justify sending a specialized beast tamer into such a lethal cave. He calmly suggested killing the useless prisoner, and Yinrua increased the pressure without hesitation. Blood appeared along Qiying's neck, breaking her resistance faster than any polite interrogation could. Qiying increased whenever Copper 1 appeared in the questions, revealing the chain of command before her confession. She admitted controlling several stronger creatures, positioned near the only reliable retreat route. Copper 1 held their command flutes, while 6th-rank monsters waited beneath snow near the entrance pool. Her bone flutes did not tame monsters permanently. They forced temporary obedience through needles and specialized sound. Once Xiao's fighters retreated, those beasts would attack and prevent anyone from reaching the water. The delay only needed to last until the water Qilin awakened and killed everything remaining underground. Yinrua immediately understood that the ambush could erase their entire expedition during its weakest moment. That limitation explained why the wrong tribe had positioned the beasts only days before the expedition. Qiying explained that stronger monsters resisted control, limiting the flutes to roughly 10 days. Her family's elders had prepared the beasts outside before quietly moving them into Ice Mist Mountain. 5th and 6th rank wrong experts also waited near the Tanyuan River to intercept survivors. A longer delay would let the monsters recover free will and attack whichever humans remained nearby. Yang Ling pressed for the commander's real objective, because this deployment was too large for ordinary treasure. Qiying finally revealed rumors about a 2nd-rank human immortal missing inside the mountain for centuries. The water Qilin sensitivity prevented high-ranked fighters from entering, leaving 7th-ranked teams to handle the cave. Repeated scouting missions had apparently located the frozen body, which might still contain a spark of life. The name disturbed Yinrua because the vanished immortal officially belonged to 9 immortals, Dao Palace. If the body remained alive, rescuing it should have helped Xiao instead of the Heavenly Wolf Guard. That restriction protected the mythical guardian while turning weaker warriors into expendable scouts for both kingdoms. Qiying admitted belonging to the same palace, making her knowledge useful but her loyalty impossible to trust. The contradiction suggested either false intelligence or a secret betrayal buried inside the sect's history. Yinrua killed Qiying before the spy could manipulate them, with another carefully chosen half-truth. The Frozen Immortals' official sect record made the wrong interests suspicious long before Copper 1 admitted anything. Yang Ling disliked losing information, but leaving an enemy beast tamer alive created an even larger risk. They now had to warn the 4th prince before he unknowingly walked into Copper 1's endgame. Killing Qiying prevented her from reclaiming a flute or redirecting one of the hidden beasts during withdrawal. Even if the prince ignored the Frozen Immortal, he needed to know about the beasts guarding his retreat. Yang Ling still carried valuable herbs and preferred leaving, yet national security made retreat politically impossible. Li Hai soon sprinted from Ice Mist Mountain, looking delighted to find someone else available for danger. He confirmed that the 4th prince had reached the inner cave and faced Copper 1 across a frozen pool. Li Hai had expected Yang Ling to deliver information and leave, not join another deadly mission personally. Yang Ling and Yinrua followed the route markers, while cold outside the mountain cut through every layer. the temperature strangely returned to normal. After they crossed into the winding underground tunnels, those passages twisted so badly that ordinary miners would have become lost within minutes. Lehai's markings guided them through the maze until the tunnel opened into a colossal cavern. Ice Mist Mountain's warm interior felt unnatural because the killing cold remained concentrated around specific pools and chambers. A freezing pool filled the center, with pale mist supporting one blue fruit above its surface. The Water Bod was one of Martial Society's 12 holy medicines and could rebuild a warrior's foundation. The fourth prince's battered force occupied one shore, while Copper One's wrong agents controlled the opposite side. Xiao had entered with 29 iron guards, but only 22 still stood inside the cavern. Route marks mattered as much as weapons, since every side passage could loop back or end beneath unstable stone. The pool froze every 15 minutes and remained solid for barely a single breath. Crossing 100 meters during that instant required impossible speed and perfect timing. Missing the window meant falling into water, where a hidden tentacle monster killed on contact. A small wrong fighter demonstrated the danger by racing across the fresh ice like a lizard. The Waterbod's mist held it above the pool without any visible branch, root, or supporting rock. His upper 7th rank speed carried him to the fruit just as the surface began melting. A black tentacle punched through his chest before his fingertips could close around the Waterbod. The creature dragged him under, leaving only a few drops of blood spreading across the pool. Every elite watching understood that reaching the fruit was easier than surviving the return trip. Neither faction fired across the cavern initially, because a battle could crack the ice before the next safe cycle. Yang Ling delivered Chu Ying's intelligence before anyone volunteered for the same suicide run. He revealed that the Heavenly Wolf Guard sought a frozen 2nd-rank immortal, not herbs or medicine. The fourth prince connected the date to a 9 immortals expert who vanished 240 years earlier. Copper One laughed instead of denying the claim, then used the revelation to poison Xiao's confidence. The failed wrong runner proved that the tentacle reacted faster than upper 7th rank movement techniques. He suggested the missing immortal had secretly served the wrong tribe, despite his official sect identity. According to Copper One, the commander had leaked selected information because recovering the body required a huge force. The explanation could be true, or it could be another lie designed to make Xiao abandon the cave. Hundreds of deployed agents supported the story, yet that same excess made deliberate deception equally believable. His death also showed that touching the fruit and returning required 2 separate windows, not one lucky dash. The fourth prince could not risk gifting an enemy a 2nd-rank powerhouse sealed beneath the ice. He also could not ignore the holy medicine floating directly between both armies. Lehai quietly smirked when the prince studied Yang Ling's speed and considered the retrieval problem. The prince ordered Yang Ling to cross the pool, collect the fruit, and return within one breath. Copper One weaponized uncertainty because proving the immortal's allegiance mattered more than winning an argument. Yang Ling respectfully refused because raw speed could not protect him from a perfectly timed tentacle. His refusal stunned every Iron Guard, especially those who believed rank made the prince's command absolute. Yang Ling instead proposed using 2 runners approaching from different directions to divide the monster's attention. At least one fighter might return if the creature committed its attack to the other target. The fourth prince could accept losing subordinates, but he could not accept allowing a strategic enemy to awaken. He selected Lehai as his partner, instantly wiping the smug satisfaction from the officer's face. Lehai tried requesting more planning, but the prince found Yang Ling's cruel logic strategically sound. Both men realized their lives had become acceptable losses the moment national interests entered the calculation. Before the next freezing cycle arrived, something enormous crashed through a side tunnel. Yang Ling's partner proposal returned that ruthless calculation to Lehai, who had quietly volunteered someone else's life. The attacker resembled a gigantic loach, with a cow-sized head, dagger fangs, and skin coated in slime. Crossbow bolts slid away without piercing it, and the beast attacked Xiao and Rong warriors indiscriminately. One tail strike launched several 7th-rank fighters into the pool, where the tentacle creature finished them. The adult loach shattered the standoff before either runner committed to the Water Bod plan. Yang Ling recognized it as an adult version of the river loach he had killed earlier. The comparison offered no comfort because this creature could swallow that former monster like a snack. Slime coating its scales turned straight crossbow shots into harmless glancing impacts. He slapped the frozen Lai Hai out of his daze and sprinted toward the nearest passage. Every surviving fighter chose whatever tunnel stood closest, destroying both formations within seconds. Fighters who survived the fangs still faced the tail, collapsing stone, and lethal water around them. Lai Hai finally revealed his real speed while fleeing, proving that fear remained an excellent cultivation technique. Yang Ling entered one branch with Yin Rua, another Iron Guard, and a suspicious warrior named Nonggong Yu. The creature's arrival scattered command groups, making every hidden spy far more dangerous inside isolated tunnels. The narrow passage trapped the four together, while the Loach battered the cavern behind them. Nonggong Yu surrendered and offered intelligence about the Heavenly Wolf Guard's objective in exchange for mercy. Nonggong Yu surrendered only after realizing Yin, Rua, and Yang Ling had trapped him without a safe direction to flee. Yang Ling already knew the main objective, so the desperate spy mentioned a second underwater exit. Before he could explain more, the other Iron Guard fired a hidden crossbow bolt through his neck. The second infiltrator killed him to protect details about the alternate exit and the Immortals' transport route. Their supposed ally immediately fled down a side passage, revealing another infiltrator inside Xiao's own unit. Yin Rua could not explain how so many wrong agents had entered the Iron Garment Division. His immediate escape mattered more than maintaining a cover identity that the interrogation would expose anyway. Nonggong Yu died after indicating that both known routes eventually connected to the mountain's pools. Yang Ling searched the corpse and recovered a hand crossbow, silver, herbs, and useful supplies. Another earthquake interrupted the search, as the Loach's battle shook the entire mountain. The earthquake erased the pursuit by separating every survivor across several newly collapsed levels. Stone layers collapsed like stacked cards, tearing open the floor beneath Yang Ling and Yin Rua. Both officers fell through darkness while riding a massive slab of broken rock. Yang Ling's defensive technique protected bones during the fall, but repeated impacts still rattled his organs. Yang Ling activated his diamond body before impact, preventing the landing from pulverizing his organs. His defense absorbed the worst force, but Yin Rua disappeared beneath a cloud of dust. Xin Rua's silence after injury demonstrated the discipline expected from an officer surrounded by unknown enemies. He found her nearby with cuts across her body and a boulder pinning her right foot. Yin Rua refused to scream despite her white face, knowing hostile fighters might be listening nearby. Her damaged ankle would have made the Water Qilin's timed escape impossible without another route. Yang Ling drew the mining pickaxe and carefully broke the stone without striking her trapped leg. The plain tool solved a problem that neither blades nor crossbows could handle safely underground. Yang Ling used the pickaxe delicately near her foot, then switched to full force against the sealed passage. Yin Rua's ankle was badly swollen, leaving her unable to maintain full combat speed. She rejected being carried until Yang Ling reminded her that pride offered no protection from cave-ins. Mining proficiency let him read fractures and remove supporting pieces without causing a second collapse. He supported her through the new passage, while his sharpened senses searched for movement beyond the walls. Voices soon reached them from another chamber, forcing both officers to extinguish every unnecessary sound. The hidden chamber proved the enemy had mapped lower tunnels more thoroughly than Xiao's expedition leaders. Hidden below the expedition, a large Heavenly Wolf unit surrounded an enormous block of ancient ice. Copper 13 commanded the operation, proving that Copper 1 had served as a visible decoy upstairs. Workers measured the frozen chamber, while one strangely dressed man prepared black powder and wrapped charges. Yang Ling recognized the technique immediately because the man was recreating explosives from the modern world. His insight skill exposed a level 27 player with the previously unknown cultist class. That class explained how an ordinary player had gained levels, despite lacking any native martial inheritance. Copper 13 kept his authority concealed, so captured agents could honestly identify Copper 1 as commander. Millions remained classless across the Divine Realm, unable to earn experience, no matter how desperately they fought. The Divine Immortal Cult could therefore recruit frustrated players by offering the progression everyone else lacked. In return, the cult gained outsiders carrying modern knowledge, including chemistry dangerous enough to reshape warfare. Yin Rua understood explosives only as thunderous weapons, while Yang Ling knew how easily production could spread. The cultist planted charges around the ice and warned Copper 13 to clear the chamber. Yang Ling used the evacuation to move Yin Rua toward an underwater route behind the enemy position. The cultist player handled powder, while native workers treated every measurement like mysterious ritual knowledge. Her water-repelling pill could protect her breathing long enough to reach the river outside. Yinrua hesitated because Yang Ling planned to remain alone between a cave-in and dozens of enemies. He needed to reach the fourth prince before the explosion sealed every remaining connection. Yinrua finally entered the water, trusting his pickaxe and movement technique to create another escape. The first detonation thundered through the chamber, stunning veteran martial artists who had never heard gunpowder. Yang Ling used that roar as cover, carrying Yinrua far enough that nobody detected their movement. His low combat level disguised a strategic value greater than several ordinary 7th rank guards. A second blast cracked the ancient ice, but failed to free the body completely. Copper 13 ordered workers forward, confirming that explosives saved time without replacing careful excavation. That delay gave Yang Ling a narrow window before the enemy removed the immortal and withdrew. He reached a collapsed corridor and heard the fourth prince's trapped group shouting from the opposite side. 5 meters of packed rubble separated them, too thick for ordinary fighters to clear before the enemy arrived. Yang Ling swung the pickaxe continuously while the prince's surviving warriors attacked the blockage from their side. Granting classes could make the Divine Immortal Cult the first organization capable of monopolizing player progression. Each strike opened visible space, turning specialized mining proficiency into the expedition's most important rescue skill. The fourth prince heard Yang Ling's voice and ordered everyone capable of moving to assist. Swords broke, hands bled, and stone fragments filled the tunnel, while the gap steadily narrowed. Yang Ling also heard wrong agents approaching behind him. Drawn by the hammering and collapsing rock, he threw a knife backward without pausing, dropping the first scout before the man could report. Another series of pickaxe swings opened enough space for the fourth prince to squeeze through. Players, denied advancement elsewhere, would accept dangerous loyalty terms simply to escape permanent weakness. Qi Yao Lihai and the remaining Xiao warriors followed, carrying their wounded through the breach. Copper 13 arrived moments later with Copper 1 and soldiers transporting the immortal inside a huge ice block. Both forces stopped on opposite sides of the escape pool, weapons raised inside the cramped passage. The frozen body between them turned every retreat option into a contest neither side could avoid. Copper 1 claimed the pulse offered a safe exit, making the water Qilins approaching awakening irrelevant. Explosives gave those recruits leverage, even before martial skills became strong enough for open battle. The fourth prince questioned why the wrong agents had rushed so desperately if safety truly waited underwater. Copper 1's hesitation confirmed that the route involved another danger or a carefully hidden condition. Yang Ling noticed that the cultist player moving his hands toward another explosive charge during the argument. Yinrua entered the pool, first because protecting both officers would only divide the water-repelling pill's limited time. He immediately hurled an armor-piercing knife and buried it through the man's face. Neither side expected the lowest-ranked constable present to attack before negotiations officially ended. Yang Ling remained where the blast could hide every pickaxe strike and movement technique. Yang Ling explained that the dead player had caused the mountain collapse and could destroy their shared exit. The fourth prince finally understood why killing one apparently weak enemy mattered more than targeting Copper 13. The explosion frightened native fighters because no visible warrior had produced the force that shook the mountain. The Divine Immortal Cult's involvement also connected the foreign operation to a threat spreading beyond this cave. Both factions briefly considered withdrawing, but possession of the frozen immortal made peaceful separation impossible. Broken ice still required manual removal, exposing the difference between impressive destruction and controlled excavation. Copper 13's squad opened fire first, filling the narrow tunnel with crossbow bolts. The fourth prince answered with his divine mechanism, crossbow, while Copper 1 covered the transport team. Yang Ling released every armor-piercing throwing knife he carried, forcing multiple agents behind shields. Voices beyond the collapsed corridor confirmed the fourth prince's team had lost its original route. The confined battlefield amplified every impact and left almost no space for injured warriors to dodge. Just as casualties mounted, the giant loach burst from the pool, with blood coating its fangs. Every Sassen spent digging competed against Copper 13's workers, clearing the frozen immortal. It spat out a mangled, black tentacle, revealing that the monsters had been fighting beneath the water. More tentacles wrapped around the loach and dragged it backward, reopening the exit for several seconds. The prince's group used blades as improvised tools, sacrificing weapon edges for enough space to crawl through. Xiao and Rong fighters silently agreed that continuing the battle would feed both armies to the creatures. Each group retreated through a different tunnel while carrying wounded companions and preserving its remaining leaders. Yang Ling's backward knife strike bought silence, preventing the approaching scouts from summoning the entire transport unit. The Rong agents kept the frozen immortal, forcing the fourth prince to pursue them through the wasteland. Yang Ling separated from Xiao's route because he had noticed another passage, returning toward the Water Bod pool. The breakthrough reunited strongest survivors at the exact point where both escape routes converged. His enhanced direction sense followed old markings through the maze without losing valuable time. The holy medicine still floated above the mist, abandoned while both armies fled the monsters. Copper 13 arrived too late to avoid confrontation and too early to move the ice block unnoticed. Yang Ling refused to swim through the death pool, even after its tentacle creature became occupied elsewhere. He waited for the next freezing cycle and prepared an invisibility talisman saved for an emergency. The cultist's hand motion resembled preparation for another fuse, giving Yang Ling no reason to wait for proof. The fourth prince's party soon entered the cavern from another route and saw the unclaimed fruit. Killing him removed the only confirmed bomb maker before either faction entered another unstable tunnel. 4 sect leaders joined him, creating a 5-person race across the instant the surface froze. Yang Ling ignited the talisman, and transparent energy erased his body from every observer's sight. Copper 1 could replace soldiers, but replacing modern chemical knowledge inside the realm would take much longer. He approached from the side while the visible competitors focused entirely on defeating one another. The fourth prince moved like a dragon and passed all 4 sect leaders before reaching the center. Crossbow fire began only after negotiations stopped creating advantages for the side carrying the immortal. 1 meter from his hand, the water bod vanished, without leaving even a ripple in the mist. Yang Ling's armor-piercing knives forced shield users to protect narrow openings instead of advancing. Yang Ling had stolen it invisibly and moved away before the prince could turn around. The frozen surface began melting, forcing every visible fighter to abandon the mystery and retreat. The Loach's return revealed that the underwater exit was occupied. Invalidating Copper 1's claim of easy safety, they concluded that the fruit had probably been an illusion, created by the underwater monster. That mistake protected Yang Ling, because nobody searched for a thief who supposedly carried nothing. Tentacles attacking the Loach created the brief distraction. Both armies needed to abandon the passage alive. He swallowed the water bod immediately, refusing to risk losing it during the escape. Yang Ling doubled back because the Water Bod cavern lay closer than the overland retreat route. Heat exploded through his body as the fruit's effect appeared across his status panel. Every listed martial technique began receiving 1 experience point during each passing second. His stored invisibility talisman solved observation, but it offered no protection from the creature beneath the pool. The reward ignored training difficulty, allowing inner cultivation, movement, blades, fists, and defense to progress together. Yang Ling sprinted through the tunnels, while the medicine converted travel time into uninterrupted cultivation. Waiting for frozen ground remained essential, even when nobody could see his approach. The heavenly will true scripture approached its next breakthrough, far faster than pills could normally provide. His diamond body, divine ape visualization, and multiple masterful skills accumulated thousands of experience points. The 5 visible competitors pushed one another to maximum speed and unintentionally drew every eye away from Yang Ling. The fruit would remain active for 3 hours, giving him a fixed window to exploit its full effect. His invisibility faded after several minutes, but the competing warriors were already far behind. The fourth prince's lead demonstrated royal training superior to the 4 sect leaders chasing him. Yang Ling entered the frozen wasteland and used hanging icicles to maintain a straight route. One wrong turn inside the white emptiness could waste enough time for the water Qilin to awaken. Yang Ling grabbed the fruit from the side, avoiding the direct line between the prince and shore. His growing perception detected distant fighters before they could see him approaching through the snow. Yang Ling passed experienced 7th-rank warriors so quickly that several only noticed the displaced air. Swallowing it removed physical evidence before invisibility ended, or anyone searched his storage. The first spiritual breakthrough pushed his spirit above 100 and sharpened every surrounding sound. Snowflakes landing far away became distinct signals instead of meaningless background noise. The panel's continuous experience effect was stronger than a single-level reward because every technique benefited simultaneously. That perception made the world feel slower because his mind processed movement with far greater precision. Inner arts that normally required meditation improved while Yang Ling ran at full speed through lethal terrain. Another advancement raised his spirit again, placing his senses beyond any native fighter he had encountered. His health rose past 2,000, while his expanding chi supplied techniques that once drained him quickly. Movement techniques gained experience from the fruit, without needing repetitive practice or additional pills. The medicine kept working without weakening, proving the legendary fruit deserved its place among holy treasures. Yang Ling checked repeatedly for the water Qilin, because excessive spiritual power might trigger the cave's guardian. Defensive arts advanced, without forcing him to absorb injuries, eliminating their normal training cost. Nothing chased him, confirming that the creature reacted to native martial rank, rather than player attributes alone. He could therefore grow beyond local expectations, without automatically exposing every hidden advantage. Spirit passing 100 expanded perception enough to improve dodging, navigation, and ranged accuracy together. The Water Bod eventually lifted his level from 45 to 48 during the 3-hour effect. 3-level rewards added 33 free attribute points to the panel at once. The Water Bod's 3-hour duration kept paying out after Yang Ling had already escaped the mountain tunnel. Yang Ling invested every point into strength, correcting the weakness left by his earlier focus on agility. Warm energy stretched through his muscles, while his enhanced senses let him perceive the physical transformation. His level increases added free points separately from the direct health and chi growth caused by the medicines. His health settled above 3,000, and his chi reached roughly 1,500 points. Collapsing Mountain Fist advanced to Masterful, adding another concrete payoff beyond the raw attributes. Investing everything into strength balanced a build previously optimized around escaping faster opponents. Heavenly Will, Diamond Body, and Divine Ape each received more than 10,000 experience from one fruit. Mining had not produced those points directly, but it had opened every route required to steal them. The sudden physical growth required control, because excess force could waste movement or break ordinary equipment. Yang Ling spent half an hour recalibrating his movement. After the sudden strength increase changed every step, Diamond Body let Yang Ling test that new strength without risking damage from small mistakes. A normal push now launched him farther than expected, making speed dangerous until his control caught up. Hidden Stargazing Academy disciples tried stopping him with a reinforced tripping rope stretched beneath the snow. Yang Ling activated Diamond Body too late to dodge, yet his legs tore straight through the obstacle. The rope dragged both ambushers across the ice and destroyed the trap before it could cut him. His health barely moved, but the attack showed how easily ordinary legs would have been severed. Yang Ling heard additional conspirators whispering 100 meters away through his improved perception. He pretended to accept their explanation, then appeared beside them before either man could recover. Their academy had been ambushing returning warriors, breaking legs, and stealing every collected herb. Stargazing Academy's rope trap depended on speed, turning a thin obstacle into a cutting weapon. One captured sect master still lived nearby and could testify if Yang Ling brought him outside. The thieves attacked again rather than face judgment, underestimating the gap created by the Water Bod. Yang Ling killed the first with overwhelming force and crushed the second before he could escape. Another disciple died with his own blade, driven through him during the brief struggle. The rescued sect master stared at Yang Ling's speed because every movement exceeded normal 7th rank limits. Yang Ling gathered the stolen herb bags, lifted the witness, and resumed running toward the retreat pool. Carrying another adult barely slowed him, which made the injured sect master stop attempting conversation. His reinforced body converted the trap into a line that dragged both hidden attackers from cover. They passed multiple groups that had departed earlier, turning Yang Ling's rescue into a public display of growth. At the entrance pool, minor sect leaders waited with modest harvests and no desire to enter deeper. Yang Ling handed the witness to his allies and ordered them to reach the ship safely. He remained because the 4th prince needed evidence against Stargazing Academy after the expedition. The Hidden Beast ambush also remained active, and Copper 1 could trigger it against every returning Xiao fighter. Yang Ling followed Chu Ying's description and found an enormous Azura frog buried beneath snow. A silver control needle remained embedded in its forehead, connecting the creature to the beast flute. Rather than fight a sixth-rank monster, Yang Ling threw a knife from maximum range. Enhanced hearing exposed conspirators, who believed falling snow and distance protected conversation. The blade knocked away the needle, and the freed frog immediately bounded into the wasteland. He repeated the process with two more frogs, dismantling Copper One's trap without risking direct combat. All three monsters remained alive, but their loyalty to the wrong agents had completely disappeared. Yang Ling returned to the pool and built a fire while waiting for the expedition's survivors. Distant combat soon announced that Xiao and Wrong forces were approaching the same escape route. Copper One played the control flute, expecting three enormous beasts to crush the exhausted fourth prince. The freed Azura frogs answered the sound, but they no longer recognized the flute as a command. Saving the injured sect master converted a private ambush into testimony that could survive political denial. Instead, the noise directed their anger toward the man responsible for the needles in their skulls. Copper One realized the reversal only after three sticky tongues launched from different directions. They wrapped his arms and legs, with each frog trying to swallow the same target. His own hidden weapons tore him apart, while the fourth prince's fighters escaped the chaos. Yang Ling covered their retreat with throwing knives, pinning Copper 13's squad behind shields. One constable held down an entire enemy formations because every knife threatened an exposed throat. Copper 13 abandoned several agents and carried the frozen immortal toward the underwater exit. The melting ice around the body revealed a heartbeat powerful enough to shake the cavern. Removing the frog needles completed the warning Chu Ying had provided before her death. Every survivor understood that the second-rank immortal was truly alive after more than 2 centuries. Yang Ling dove into the pool, accelerated through the water, and caught Copper 13 near the tunnel. He kicked the ice block away, then slapped the enemy leader back toward the approaching frogs. The frozen immortal crashed across the shore, while the water Qilin's howl rolled through the wasteland. A wave of supernatural cold refroze the body before it could fully awaken. Ice raced toward the escape tunnel, forcing Yang Ling to abandon everything except forward movement. He shot through the water like a torpedo, while the mountain froze solid behind the fleeing survivors. Copper One's own flute then became the signal, directing 3 furious monsters toward their former controller. Yang Ling caught the fourth prince inside the underwater passage and matched his pace as protective escort. The prince interpreted that position as loyalty, although Yang Ling intended to save himself if the freezing wave overtook them. The underwater freeze advanced behind the survivors, like a closing wall, instead of ordinary winter ice. Copper 13's remaining agents entered behind. Xiao, still struggling to move the stolen immortal through the water. The advancing cold reached their rear formations, moments after Yang Ling cleared the narrowest section. Yang Ling's escort position let him observe the prince, while preserving a clear path toward open water. At one wrong fighter became trapped with his upper body free, and everything below the waist sealed in ice. Copper 13 ignored the man's outstretched hand, because rescuing him would trap the entire squad. Copper 13 abandoned trapped agents, because stopping once would sacrifice the immortal, and everyone carrying it. The passage froze shut completely, separating the survivors from the water Qilin and its ancient cavern. Everyone surfaced in the Tanyuan River, with numb limbs, damaged equipment, and far fewer companions. Reaching the river did not end pursuit. It merely moved the operation from tunnels into Xiao's prepared blockade. Yang Ling quietly confirmed that Yin Rua had escaped earlier and was already moving toward Xiao's ships. The wrong group fled downstream, with whatever remained of the frozen body and its protective ice. Naval signals traveled faster than exhausted swimmers, allowing squadrons to close downstream routes before the agents surfaced. Xiao's signal teams immediately alerted 4 naval squadrons positioned along the river. A trained eagle carried orders to block both directions and hunt every surviving Heavenly Wolf agent. Senior Wrong escorts still broke the encirclement by using higher-ranked fighters unavailable inside Ice Mist Mountain. The scale of that response proved the frozen immortal mattered more than any herb collected underground. Ling reached the assembly point first, leaving others to wonder how an 8th-rank constable had passed every elite. Their successful retreat showed that the cave restriction, not weak leadership, had kept those experts outside. Yinrua reported the hidden chamber, Copper 13's real authority, and the explosives used against the Sais. The fourth prince added Yang Ling's rescue, the dead cultist, and the battle at the exit pool. Yang Ling reported only visible rewards and mission actions. keeping the Water Bod completely outside official accounting. 4 copper-ranked agents had died during the mission, giving the Iron Garment Division a rare intelligence victory. Copper One's death belonged largely to Yang Ling, because removing the frog needles had reversed the ambush. Yin Rua's separate route made her testimony independent evidence for the hidden chamber and explosive attack. Yin Rua received credit for another enemy officer, helping restore confidence after several internal betrayals. The escaped infiltrator still embarrassed their division, but exposing him prevented future damage. Multiple reports prevented Copper 13's deception from being dismissed as confusion caused by the collapse. The fourth prince publicly praised Yang Ling for killing Copper 4 and Copper 9 during earlier clashes. He also credited the constable with neutralizing the Azura frogs before exhausted survivors reached them. The Iron Garment Division desperately needed those verified achievements. After discovering traitors among its own officers, Copper 13 had nearly escaped with the immortal until Yang Ling kicked the ice block away underwater. Players who avoided the cave stared at him with equal parts admiration, jealousy, and disbelief. Killing several copper agents demonstrated that infiltration had caused damage without destroying Xiao's counterintelligence ability. Kicking a second-rank immortal sounded insane, even when the target remained frozen and defenseless. Qin felt relieved that his friend had survived, but the rewards clearly justified every reckless decision. The fourth prince's public praise protected Yang Ling from senior officers, tempted to minimize a junior constable's role. The Water Bod remained Yang Ling's greatest prize, although nobody suspected it had entered his stomach. The fourth prince told senior leaders that the fruit vanished before anyone could touch it. Qin Mo understood that reputation could become armor once enough respected witnesses repeated the same facts. Xiao Sun agreed that an underwater monster could have created bait to lure warriors onto the ice. That explanation ended the search and let Yang Ling keep 3 levels of progression completely hidden. Senior leaders treated the missing Water Bod as a monster's trick because no storage trace or witness contradicted them. The leaders next discussed the Divine Immortal cult and its cooperation with the Heavenly Wolf Guard. Explosives had collapsed tunnels with force, approaching a 4th-rank Grandmaster's technique. Yang Ling's ordinary expression mattered as much as the invisibility talisman when everyone discussed the vanished fruit. Unlike martial skill, gunpowder could be reproduced, stored, and handed to people without cultivation. Widespread bombs could therefore alter the balance between Xiao and the wrong tribe. The Divine Immortal cult discussion shifted attention from one stolen treasure toward a threat affecting 2 worlds. The cultist class created a second danger by offering progression to millions of stranded players. Native officers feared bombs for destructive power, while Yang Ling feared the repeatable process behind them. A faction combining modern knowledge, desperate recruits, and foreign intelligence could spread far beyond one mountain. The fourth prince ordered information about the cult, distributed to Iron Guards across Xiao. A martial grandmaster took decades to create, but trained workers could assemble multiple charges from common materials. He wanted every branch investigated before local followers gained enough numbers to resist openly. Senior warriors finally treated the cult as a national threat instead of another strange player organization. Cult classes supplied those workers with advancement, identity, and a reason to protect the organization. Yang Ling had killed only 1 cultist, yet that death prevented explosives from sealing the common exit. The national warning meant future bomb makers would face displaying the fake in there openly. His decision also gave Xiao the first clear evidence linking the organization to wrong operations. The next dispute began when the rescued sect master accused Stargazing Academy disciples of robbery. He described hidden ropes, coordinated ambushes, broken legs, and stolen herbs along the return route. Stargazing Academy's robbery case emerged because mission discipline still mattered after foreign agents and monsters. Several smaller sect leaders confirmed seeing injured warriors after passing the same section. Gujo, Stargazing Academy's master, rejected the accusations and demanded proof beyond one frightened witness. Smaller sects depended on official law when powerful schools treated isolated travelers as easy supply caches. Yang Ling produced 3 bulging herb bags taken from the dead disciples, immediately weakening that defense. The Academy's own harvest looked tiny compared with the treasure its supposed victims had somehow carried. The recovered ropes proved preparation, separating organized robbery from a spontaneous dispute over herbs. Yang Ling stated that the disciples attacked him first and died only after refusing surrender. He had also preserved the injured sect master specifically so the crime could not become rumor. Broken legs matched a method designed to leave victims alive, but unable to pursue the thieves. Guzhou argued that dead students could not answer charges and accused Yang Ling of taking their property. Yang Ling countered that ambushing travelers resembled wrong tactics closely enough to justify a treason investigation. Guzhou's demand for dead students to testify ignored the living witness Yang Ling had carried back. That possibility terrified every academy member because suspected collaboration could condemn an entire sect. The fourth prince refused to dismiss the matter, while the expedition's losses were still being counted. Political influence delayed immediate judgment, but could not erase physical tools, injuries, and confiscated property. Guzhou invoked the third prince, who had studied beneath Stargazing Academy's master for several years. The political connection forced everyone to treat the accusation carefully, even with visible evidence present. Suggesting treason raised the cost of denial because investigators would search finances, travel records, and family ties. Xiao's son arrived by Golden Eagle before the argument could divide the entire camp. His status silenced the gathering because even sixth-rank leaders bowed when he stepped onto the ship. A quiet iron guard named Zhang Hu then delivered a detailed report on every event inside the cave. The third prince's academy connection protected due process, not guaranteed immunity from evidence. Yang Ling learned that the unremarkable officer had secretly observed the mission for headquarters. Xiao's son revealed an even deeper operation involving the frozen immortal's true identity. Xiao's son's arrival placed capital authority above every local relationship shaping the argument. The missing 9 immortals expert had indeed served the wrong tribe, despite his public position. Xiao's agents had known for years and hoped to recover him as a living intelligence source. Zhang Hu's secret observation ensured headquarters possessed a report written before public accusations changed anyone's story. Their official rescue effort was therefore a trap designed to make the Heavenly Wolf Guard expose itself. The plan worked partially, drawing hundreds of enemy agents and several copper-ranked commanders into Xiao territory. The frozen immortal operation showed that Xiao also used deception, spies, and expendable forces against the Heavenly Wolf Guard. However, leaked intelligence forced the wrong commander to burn enormous resources, rather than surrender the body. The frozen immortal escaped neither side cleanly because the water Qilin sealed him again inside the cave. Recovering a living traitor could expose decades of contacts more valuable than simply executing a frozen enemy. Xiao lost many fighters, but 4 senior enemy agents died and the foreign network suffered heavy damage. The operation also revealed explosives, cult cooperation, and multiple Iron Guard infiltrators. The Water Qilin's intervention denied both kingdoms that intelligence prize and reset the struggle for decades. Yang Ling had accidentally collected much of the credit from a mission planned far above his rank. 9 Immortals representatives asked what would happen if their publicly honored ancestor was confirmed as a traitor. 9 Immortals' Dao Palace faced humiliation because its honored predecessor had secretly served a foreign power. Xiao's son handed them sealed evidence and ordered the palace to investigate without warning other suspects. Their senior disciple read enough to lose all color before hiding the document from junior members. The sect could protect its reputation only by cooperating with the state instead of denying the betrayal. Cooperating with Xiao offered the sect its only path to separate one traitor from its entire institutional reputation. Attention returned to Stargazing Academy once the national security briefing ended. Xiao's son treated roadside robbery by elite disciples as both a criminal act and a political embarrassment. Guzhou's academy lacked a comparable national security excuse for disciples carrying custom ambush tools. Guzhou continued insisting on a formal inquiry, hoping the academy's royal connection would delay punishment. The fourth prince produced a blacksmith who had personally forged reinforced tripping ropes for the accused disciples. The blacksmith witness connected those tools directly to buyers instead of relying on visual resemblance alone. Her choice records connected Guzhou's students to the specialized tools used against returning warriors. The witness had no reason to accuse a powerful academy, and every reason to fear retaliation. Chains around Guzhou proved political connections could slow judgment without stopping formal detention. Combined with the stolen herb bags, the evidence left Guzhou almost no credible defense. Xiao's son ordered the sectmaster restrained until a complete investigation could reach the capital. Yang Ling received the herb bags only after officials secured testimony and established the property as stolen goods. Academy disciples watched their political shield collapse as iron guards placed chains around their leader. The fourth prince appeared satisfied because Guizhou had challenged royal authority throughout the expedition. The gift rewarded enforcement while preventing disputed treasure from returning to the accused academy. Yang Ling avoided celebrating openly. Although the Academy's arrogance had nearly cost him his legs for the life, the confiscated herbs remained with him as evidence and compensation until officials decided ownership. Hidden inventory space let Yang Ling keep his personal harvest, separate from the bags examined publicly. The fourth prince ultimately granted the bags to Yang Ling after recognizing his rescue and enforcement work. Smaller sect leaders stared because the prince transferred a fortune with the casual motion of pocket change. Yang Ling strapped all 3 bags around his waist before anyone reconsidered the generosity. Waves from the water Qilin reminded every victor that human arguments remain tiny beside the cave's true ruler. His own hidden collection made the visible harvests only part of what he had gained. A distant eruption of water interrupted the proceedings and shook every ship on the river. Waves higher than buildings rolled outward from Ice Mist Mountain without revealing their sources. The creature traveled underwater, revealing strength only through pressure, capable of shaking anchored ships. Senior leaders identified the disturbance as the water Qilin finally leaving its cave. Nobody saw its true body, but the pressure alone made 6th-rank fighters hold their breath. The mythical creature vanished downstream after, creating turbulence that lasted 15 minutes. Its departure ended the expeditions more decisively than any royal command or sect agreement. Ice Mist Mountain would remain inaccessible for roughly 80 years before the same cycle reopened. That timeline erased any immediate plan to recover the frozen immortal from beneath the sealed tunnels. Both kingdoms had spent lives on a body, now guarded by something stronger than either expedition. The river blockade's limited results proved foreign agents had prepared extraction teams before entering Shao. A returning eagle reported that wrong teams had breached part of the river blockade. 5th and 6th rank enemies covered their escape, allowing most surviving agents to leave Shao territory. Shao's squadrons killed only a small group, despite preparing the interception in advance. Their commander accepted hundreds of losses to preserve one frozen operative and protect deeper secrets. The result increased respect for the Heavenly Wolf Guard's organization and willingness to sacrifice agents. Even first-rate sects would struggle to coordinate such a large operation deep inside hostile land. Yang Ling privately asked Xiao Sun about turning his Qilin iron into a stronger mining pickaxe. Yang Ling's Qilin iron came from terrain nobody could revisit until the next 80-year opening. The material came from the cave and could survive impacts that shattered ordinary metal tools. Xiao Sun recommended finding a master smith rather than wasting the rare ore on provincial craftsmanship. A poor smith could ruin an irreplaceable resource, making patience more valuable than immediate equipment. Yang Ling stored the advice and returned his attention to immediate cultivation rewards. His inventory included 171 cultivation pills and nearly 100 spirit pills. He also carried multiple herb bags, silver notes, Qilin iron, and information valuable to headquarters. Cultivation pills converted meditation time into steady experience, complementing the Water Bod's extraordinary one-time acceleration. Water Bod upgrades had raised his attributes beyond normal 7th rank limits without changing his official record. His extreme agility remained the reason he had survived long enough to obtain every newer advantage. Speed let him steal the fruit, evade crossbows, rescue witnesses, and outrun the water Qilin's freeze. Spirit pills supported mental arts whose breakthroughs increased perception rather than direct physical attack. Strength now caught up enough to make his balance build far more dangerous in direct combat. Yang Ling visited Deadman Valley's appraisers to convert herbs requiring refinement into usable resources. Yang Ling's mixed inventory allowed flexible progress instead of tying every future gain to one technique. Elder Qin recognized several plants immediately and calculated values, while assistants recorded each item. 1-century-old cinnabar flower could improve alchemy yield by at least 10%. Other plants strengthened the body, restored internal injuries, or supplied ingredients for cultivation cells. Agility remained his survival foundation, even after new strength made direct clashes more realistic. Directly edible treasures rarely left the cave, because warriors consumed them before anyone could steal them. The remaining harvest, therefore, consisted mostly of medicines needing specialized refinement. Yang Ling sold the first bag for roughly 30,000 taels, after checking every valuation. His build proved escape statistics could create later opportunities for damage, treasure, and rescue. Elder Qin offered pills for part of the payment, because cash alone could not accelerate cultivation. The valley's production remained booked for years, making reliable pill access more valuable than silver. Deadman Valley appraisers identified refinement requirements that insight alone did not automatically solve. Yang Ling accepted a mixture that preserved spending money while securing future training. His second bag contained rarer materials and raised the total value considerably. One frost vermilion fruit could grant an ordinary person the strength of a low-level martial artist. Selling common herbs reduced storage burden, while experts assumed the risk of failed alchemy. Elder Qin valued it at 50,000 taels and expected Yang Ling to sell immediately. Yang Ling instead took the fruit from the appraiser and swallowed it whole. Warmth spread through his body as the item's permanent enhancement entered his panel. Direct consumption converted rare plants into permanent advantages that could not be stolen after death. Elder Qin looked physically wounded by the decision, then admitted that consuming treasure was its original purpose. The fruit reinforced Yang Ling's foundations, instead of becoming another number inside a money pouch. Elder Qin's pain over the swallowed fruit reflected lost profit, not disagreement with its strengthening effect. His recent victories had taught him that raw health, strength, agility, and qi solved different emergencies. Specializing remained useful, but balanced survival mattered more when every expedition produced unknown threats. Yang Ling sold more common herbs while retaining anything with a direct permanent benefit. Balancing silver and pills protected Yang Ling from becoming powerful but unable to pay ordinary expenses. Elder Qin grew increasingly interested in the final bag because it held more plants than the others combined. Yang Ling refused to open it, honoring a promise made to a dead medicine guild contact. Dai Huene had provided pills earlier and requested first choice from any future harvest. Medicine production bottlenecks made guaranteed delivery dates more important than impressive catalog prices. Wrong spies killed Dai before the agreement could benefit him personally. Yang Ling still intended to deliver the bag, so the guild would not treat the promise as worthless. Dai Huene's prior assistants had arrived when Yang Ling possessed fewer contacts and needed pills urgently. The decision impressed Elder Qin, despite costing Deadman Valley a potentially enormous transaction. Honor created better long-term access than squeezing one appraiser for the highest immediate price. Warriors waiting nearby watched Yang Ling leave with wealth that exceeded their entire expedition rewards. Honoring that agreement warned future merchants that dealing with him remained safe even after personal tragedy. Qinmo found him afterward and carried news from the Provincial Iron Garment Division. Senior officers planned to transfer an experienced director, creating an opening in Chang'an Prefecture. Sunbao's held seniority for promotion, but headquarters wanted stronger leadership after repeated infiltrations. The Medicine Guild's structure combined independent sellers, alchemy sects, and political backing from the state. Yang Ling's cave performance had pushed his name above officers who had waited years. Lu Changshan proposed promoting him directly from city constable to prefectural security director. Like the mining guild, its apparent commerce rested on powerful organizations capable of enforcing contracts. The jump skipped the usual deputy position and gave him authority over multiple local branches. Yang Ling worried that administration would consume the training time responsible for his rapid growth. Yinra would handle routine work, while he focused on dangerous cases and cultivation. Promotion discussions began only after officials calculated how Yang Ling's strength could stabilize a weaker prefecture. Her experience made the arrangement practical, and their shared survival inside the cave strengthened trust. Another opening in Security Division 3 could place both officers over complementary parts of the prefecture. Provincial leaders viewed two powerhouses in one weaker district as overkill with strategic value. Direct appointment avoided leaving two divisions leaderless, while headquarters processed a normal multi-stage career path. The wrong network had targeted Yang Ling repeatedly, making concentrated security protection reasonable. Promotion also provided manuals, intelligence, personnel, and legal authority unavailable to an ordinary constable. Yang Ling accepted the opportunity after confirming that he would not become trapped behind a desk. Yin Rua's administrative support separated operational command from routine documentation and personnel management. Before the appointment became official, He needed a recognized martial rank, matching the new responsibility. His status panel showed enough hidden power, but native institutions required a witnessed combat examination. Lu Chongshan volunteered as examiner, giving Yang Ling a genuine lower 6th rank opponent. The partnership let Yang Ling remain a field asset instead of becoming an expensive signature behind a desk. Surviving 100 exchanges would prove his combat ability had crossed beyond ordinary 7th rank. The low Sunting threshold accounted for the huge gap between the two recognized stages. Most 7th rank experts could not endure even several full attacks from a 6th rank fighter. 6th rank certification protected the promotion from officers who respected combat more than bureaucratic seals. Passing under Lu Chongshan carried extra weight because few lower 6th rank warriors could defeat him. Xiao Sun and the 4th prince agreed to witness the test, removing any chance of local officials disputing it. News spread through the provincial compound. Before Yang Ling finished organizing his recovered treasure, Lu Chongshan's reputation turned the exam into a harder test than the minimum rules required. Every available constable crowded the training hall to watch the first such examination in years. Younger officers expected a ceremonial demonstration because Yang Ling's official record still looked unimpressive. 100 exchanges represented survival against pressure that could kill normal 7th rank warriors almost immediately. Veterans understood that Lu Chongshan never offered easy approval, even to politically connected candidates. The examiner explained that Yang Ling needed only survival, not victory, to earn the new rank. The audience expected evasion because direct collision with a lower 6th rank examiner appeared suicidal. Xiao Sun added 2 valuable martial manuals as rewards if the candidate passed convincingly. Iron Armor Scripture and Dragon Capture Blade represented techniques most iron guards could never access. Yang Ling's first impact revealed enough durability to transform curiosity into complete attention. Desire spread through the audience because either manual could reshape an ordinary officer's career. Yang Ling entered the arena carrying his red-gold pickaxe and a blade, then checked Lu Chongshan with insight. Green Flood Dragon movement provided speed, while Tiger Capture Blade controlled angles and redirected force. The examiner's base attributes exceeded his, and layered techniques pushed the gap even wider. Lu Chongshan could operate 2 inner cultivation methods simultaneously, multiplying his strength and endurance. Insight offered numerical information, but surviving still required reading attacks and choosing techniques in real time. Yang Ling compensated with higher quality skills, exceptional agility, and the enormous health pool from recent rewards. The 4th prince expected him to survive by evasion while avoiding direct contact. Lu Chongshan layered inner arts because his chi reserve supported circulation paths ordinary fighters could not maintain. Yang Ling chose a riskier approach because a defensive performance would hide how much the Water Bod changed him. He activated Green Flood Dragon movement first, causing his agility to surge above normal 7th rank limits. Multiple methods explained why native rank alone failed to predict exact combat power. Lu Chongshan answered with crushing force that split the floor beneath his opening step. Their first collision shook the hall and sent Yang Ling sliding backward, without breaking his stance. Yang Ling's higher-grade diamond body reduced health loss, while consuming chi with every protected impact. Spectators realized the test would become a real fight rather than a political formality. Yang Ling used Tiger Capture Blade to redirect attacks, instead of meeting every strike head-on. His enormous reserve delayed exhaustion long enough to reveal how much the Water Bod had strengthened him. His perception read tiny muscle movements before Lu Chongshan's weapon completed each path. That fraction of warning let him dodge by millimeters while preserving energy for unavoidable impacts. Lu Chongshan increased his pace, producing a tiger-shaped pressure wave around the blade. The pickaxe's red-gold head survived blade pressure that would have destroyed a standard mining tool. Yang Ling switched techniques, using 12 golden legs to reinforce direct power and balance. Diamond Body spread protection through his organs whenever a punch or kick slipped past his guard. Blocking with it also let Yang Ling preserve his main blade for attacks, requiring a sharper edge. Several clean blows launched him across the arena, yet his health bar barely changed. The audience saw violent impacts, without understanding how much internal damage the defensive arc entailed. Spectators tracked cracked flooring and flying debris, once both fighters moved faster than their eyes. Qin Mo struggled to follow either fighter and eventually watched the floor instead of their bodies. Lai Hai recognized that the gap between himself and Yang Ling had grown frighteningly large. Lai Hai had witnessed cave speed firsthand, yet the examination showed Yang Ling could now absorb direct punishment too. The fourth prince compared Yang Ling's speed, strength, and qi with his own foundation. Xiao Sun concluded that ordinary technique quality did not explain the performance. Yang Ling's base was simply too solid. The fourth prince compared their foundations, because both relied on elite techniques and unusual resources. Lu Chongshan landed another strike that made Yang Ling's organs twist, despite the protected health pool. Yang Ling resisted the urge to vomit and returned before the examiner could reset his stance. Xiao Sun valued fundamentals over flashy skill names after watching Yang Ling maintain balance under repeated blows. His red-gold pickaxe blocked a blade that would have split an ordinary weapon. Mining equipment again became a combat asset because its durability matched the force of higher-ranked techniques. Lu Chongshan extended the match because the official passing point arrived before Yang Ling approached collapse. Yang Ling stopped counting exchanges once. The pace exceeded what spectators could track. The examination continued beyond the minimum because Lu Chongshan wanted to locate his actual limit. Ending voluntarily prevented pride from turning a successful examination into permanent injury. Yang Ling's health, qi, and movement remained stable long after a normal candidate would collapse. The examiner finally reduced his pressure and ended the fight before either man suffered unnecessary injury. The certification recorded practical combat ability rather than the exact source of Yang Ling's unusual attributes. Silence held the hall until Xiaos announced that Yang Ling had passed the 6th rank examination. The result gave him the provisional title of newly advanced lower 6th rank martial artist. Public witnesses made that record portable across provinces where local rivals might otherwise challenge it. Witnesses included a royal prince, a capital official, and one of the province's strongest directors. Nobody could dismiss the certification as favoritism. After watching Yang Ling absorb Lu Chongshan's attacks, officers who had resented his planned promotion lost their strongest argument immediately. Iron Charmer scripture carried institutional loyalty conditions because its circulation method belonged exclusively to the division. Several had expected an ambitious 8th-rank constable and instead witnessed a 6th-rank combatant. Lu Chongshan confirmed that Yang Ling's survival score meant more because his own examination standard was unusually severe. Accepting the manual meant accepting pursuit if Yang Ling later betrayed Xiao or leaked the technique. Fewer than 20 lower 6th-rank fighters across Xiao could reliably defeat the examiner. Xiao Sun completed the martial record and prepared documents for registration at the capital. Dragon Capture Blade offered immediate value because compatible proficiency could transfer from Tiger Capture Blade. He then presented Iron Armor Scripture and Dragon Capture Blade before the entire hall. Every Iron Guard became rigid because the manuals carried their commander's lifelong insights. Experience inheritance protected earlier training instead of punishing progression into a superior form. Yang Ling accepted them with a deep bow and promised to honor the division's teachings. The rewards supplied both defensive cultivation and a stronger evolution of his existing blade style. Diamond King's first-rate status explained the system rejection that had initially seemed like a broken reward. Tiger Capture Blade proficiency could transfer into Dragon Capture Blade instead of being discarded. That preserved months of accumulated experience and made the upgrade immediately useful. A weaker inner art could be absorbed upward, but it could not share space beside an incompatible superior method. Iron Armor Scripture created a more complicated problem because Yang Ling already practiced Diamond King. Lu Chongshan explained that lower-grade inner techniques could normally operate together without restriction. Dual cultivation therefore demanded quality, matching pathways, deep and precise control at the same time. First-rate cultivation rejected incompatible methods and absorbed weaker power rather than sharing the body. Diamond King already occupied that position, locking out the second-rate Iron Armor Scripture. Ignoring compatibility risked chi deviation, damaged foundations, and lost future breakthroughs, even without immediate death. Yang Ling could not safely sell the manual because its appearance outside the division would expose him. The valuable reward therefore became an inventory item unless he found a compatible future path. Qin Mo gained years of useful caution simply by listening, while experienced fighters answered Yang Ling's questions. Lu Chongshan warned that 2 simultaneous techniques also needed similar circulation routes to avoid internal conflict. Qin Mo memorized every explanation, gaining a free lesson unavailable to ordinary provincial constables. The unused iron armor manual remained too dangerous to sell because both buyer and seller would face execution. Yang Ling realized that future dual cultivation required another first-rate inner art, matching Diamond King's nature. His spirit techniques posed less conflict because Heavenly Will and Divine Ape followed compatible mental paths. Keeping it in inventory was frustrating but safer than creating evidence of treason for a temporary profit. The examination therefore produced knowledge as valuable as the official rank itself. Appointment papers could now list Yang Ling as a martial authority rather than an untested local officer. Provincial appointment documents now matched Yang Ling's combat record, eliminating a gap between power and legal authority. The promotion still angered deputies who believed seniority should outweigh achievement. Sun Bao's transfer offered safety and status instead of framing his removal as punishment for Yang Ling's rise. Sun Bao's supporters expected their veteran to inherit Security Division 1 automatically. Moving hostile deputies with him prevented the new director from inheriting a command divided on its first day. Provincial leaders, instead, moved Sun Bao to safer patrol work, granting the retirement path he secretly wanted. The letters traveled ahead, so local officers could prepare seals, staffing records, and the public assembly. The transfer removed an obstacle without humiliating an officer who had served for years. Security Division 3 also prepared for leadership changes connected to Yin Rua's return. Lin Yan's excitement reflected a patronage system where recommending talent created lasting professional bonds. Letters carrying the decisions traveled toward Chang'an Prefecture before Yang Ling left the provincial capital. Headquarters expected Yang Ling's advancement to continue, making Chang'an Prefecture a proving ground rather than a destination. Local directors opened them together and discovered that the new structure affected every branch. Officers who supported him early could gain responsibility when his authority expanded beyond the district. One order transferred Sun Bao upward, another reassigned an existing director, and the third named Yang Ling. The same career incentive could also attract opportunists, requiring careful guarantors for future recruits. His appointment placed a newly certified 6th-rank fighter over a district known for limited talent. Supporters immediately predicted that wrong spies would avoid the prefecture rather than challenge him openly. Yang Ling packed Qilin iron beside manuals and pills because every reward supported a different route of growth. Opponents saw their promotion ladder collapse beneath an outsider who had advanced too quickly. Yin Rua returned with an injured ankle, but enough status to manage one of the prefecture's security branches. The martial examination record accompanied the letters and eliminated any claim that his strength was exaggerated. Shinmo traveled as junior support, while absorbing techniques, politics, and operational knowledge from both officers. Xiao's son, the 4th prince, and Lu Chongshan had all signed as official witnesses. The quiet road home gave them a rare pause after the cave. Hearing, appraisal, and examination. Even bitter deputies understood that challenging the promotion meant questioning authorities far above them. Zhang Tai, the patrol director, recognized the strategic benefit and prepared the full assembly. No ambush appeared, but the Heavenly Wolf Guard already possessed reasons to target the newly promoted director. Every constable from security, crime, and patrol received orders to gather in Division 1's courtyard. Copper losses made Yang Ling personally responsible for disrupting several expensive foreign networks. Lin Yan, who had first noticed Yang Ling in Green Mountain City, could barely contain his excitement. Cult intelligence added another enemy that viewed his knowledge as dangerous to recruitment. He treated the promotion as proof that discovering talent could lift the sponsor alongside the candidate. His public promotion increased protection while making future movements easier for spies to predict. Yang Ling meanwhile packed pills, silver manuals, herbs, and Qilin iron for the journey home. His official position had changed, but the next threats remained the cult and surviving wrong network. Stepping into leadership would require hiding selected strengths instead of demonstrating every new statistic. Both enemies now understood that eliminating him would protect operations across the entire province. The Water Bod remained secret, preserving the largest gap between what enemies calculated and what Yang Ling could survive. Yang Ling left with Yin Rua and Qin Mo, carrying more authority than either companion had expected. A strong Qilin iron pickaxe promised another hidden advantage because rivals still treated mining as low-status work. Their return would transform a routine appointment ceremony into the beginning of a much larger purge. By reaching home, Yang Ling carried enough power, evidence, and authority to begin hunting threats on his own ground. While the trio rode home, Chang'an Prefecture's directors received 3 sealed letters from Yunwen Province. Sun Bao and Director Shi opened the first 2 together and discovered both had earned transfers. Sun Bao would enter provincial patrol service, trading dangerous frontline work for a safer retirement path. Director Shi received command in another prefecture, a clear sign that headquarters intended further promotion. The sealed letters reached Chang'an headquarters before Yang Ling, giving senior directors time to process the unexpected changes. Both men celebrated until Patrol Director Jiang Tai revealed that the third letter named Yang Ling. The attached briefing listed his Grand Slam honors, cave achievements, dead copper agents, and martial examination. Learning that Yang Ling had reached 6th rank left the veteran directors silent around their untouched tea. Sun Bao's provincial patrol post rewarded long service while reducing exposure to another dangerous intelligence failure. Sun Bao had expected that breakthrough to require 10 years, not the brief period since their last meeting. Jiang Tai credited rare treasures and repeated life-or-death victories for compressing the normal cultivation timeline. Headquarters wanted Yang Ling settled in one district long enough to stabilize that explosive foundation. Director Shi's new command confirmed headquarters preferred promoting experienced officers instead of simply discarding them. Director Shi assumed Sun Bao's old Security Division 1 would become Yang Ling's only command. Jiang Tai corrected him. The newcomer would control Security Divisions 1 and 3 simultaneously. Running 2 branches gave Yang Ling a larger force, but also doubled the administrative consequences of failure. Sun Bao accepted the decision because a 6th-ranked spy hunter made the entire prefecture safer. Yang Ling's briefing forced both veterans to replace assumptions about slow advancement with verified recent achievements. His 2 deputies reacted less gracefully, seeing years of expected promotion disappear in one sealed order. Lin Yan stood nearby, almost vibrating, because he had once sponsored Yang Ling in Green Mountain City. That old connection could now pull Lin Yan's own career upward beside the rising director. Controlling 2 security divisions was unusual, but the prefecture lacked another officer, close to his new marshal rank. A constable announced Yang Ling's arrival, before resentment could spread through the leadership group. Jiang Tai immediately ordered every iron guard from security, crime, and patrol into one courtyard. More than 1,000 officers crowded the space, with late arrivals pressed against walls for visibility. Jiang Tai assembled everyone because public legitimacy would prevent rumors from undermining the transition later. Yang Ling entered beside Yin Rua and Qin Mo, while the directors formed an official line. Jiang Tai opened the ceremony by reading Sun Bao's transfer into the provincial patrol branch. The audience congratulated the veteran because everyone understood that safer duty was his preferred reward. The second decree reassigned Director Shi and raised his authority by half a grade. The overcrowded courtyard turned 3 administrative letters into a ceremony witnessed by the entire institution. Neither announcement explained why the entire prefecture needed to witness what normally required a small meeting. The third decree appointed Yang Ling as Director of Security Division 1. Surprise swept the courtyard because many constables still remembered him as a junior city officer. Reading the veteran transfers first showed continuity before revealing the more disruptive appointment. Jiang Tai continued before anyone could object, naming Yang Ling Director of Security Division 3 as well. The combined command placed 2 major branches under someone younger than most deputies present. Sun Bao's senior assistants exchanged bitter looks and quietly questioned whether achievement should erase service time. Sun Bao's deputies heard their expected opening disappear, only after celebrating their own director's safer future. The veteran director stopped them before their dissatisfaction could become an act of public defiance. He explained that obeying lawful appointments mattered more than protecting personal promotion plans. Sun Bao then requested permission to take both deputies into provincial patrol service with him. Moving them together preserved team loyalty and prevented private disappointment from becoming organized resistance. Yang Ling recognized the favor immediately because it removed the 2 officers most likely to sabotage his command. The deputies gained respectable transfers, while the incoming director inherited divisions without hidden internal resistance. Yang Ling bowed to Sun Bao, genuinely appreciating an elegant solution that avoided humiliation. Sun Bao asked only that his successor keep killing wrong spies and protect the division's reputation. Yang Ling accepted the arrangement without demanding punishment, gaining cooperation instead of creating humiliated enemies. He then addressed the crowd and listed Yang Ling's achievements inside the Water Qilin cave. The new director had killed Copper 4 and Copper 9, both agents trusted with major foreign operations. Removing control needles from the Azura frogs had also engineered Copper One's death. Sun Bao's achievement list translated unfamiliar cave events into merit every ordinary constable could understand. Yang Ling rescued trapped officers, exposed explosives, and prevented the frozen immortal from leaving through the pool. Those results preserved Xiao's security and repaired damage caused by infiltrators inside the Iron Garment Division. Crime directors understood the significance because copper-ranked agents normally operated in royal or provincial capitals. Copper-ranked kills carried special weight because most officers would never even identify such an embedded agent. Officers still nursing resentment began reconsidering whether seniority alone could produce comparable achievements. Sun Bao saved the strongest fact for last and announced Yang Ling's newly certified 6th rank. Lu Chongshan had served as examiner. While Xiao Sun and the 4th prince witnessed the result, the courtyard fell silent because Chang'an Prefecture had not possessed such a fighter in 13 years. The frog reversal counted as strategy rather than luck because Yang Ling had removed 3 control needles deliberately. 6th rank looked one step above 7th on paper, but required a lifetime many warriors never completed. Every objection vanished once the appointment sounded like massive overinvestment rather than reckless favoritism. Power of that level normally served in provincial capitals, royal cities, or the national capital. His 6th rank certificate ended the remaining debate by proving the prefecture received more strength than expected. Smarter officers concluded that headquarters viewed the prefecture as Yang Ling's temporary leadership training ground. Supporting him now could therefore create allies whose careers rose when he eventually moved upward. Zhang Tai requested both official seals, and the departing directors surrendered them without delay. Officers who valued future careers quickly recognized that serving a rising director could benefit the whole district. Yang Ling accepted command of security divisions 1 and 3 before the assembled force. Crime, patrol, and security leaders bowed first, followed by every officer packed into the courtyard. Lin Yan grinned openly, convinced that discovering Yang Ling had become his greatest professional achievement. Handing over both seals made the transfer legally complete before congratulations turned into empty ceremony. Once the public ceremony ended, Yang Ling retained only directors and other essential decision-makers. His first closed briefing concerned the divine immortal cult rather than promotions or celebration. He described its cultist class, wrong, connection, gunpowder knowledge, and ability to collapse mountain tunnels. Yang Ling's first private meeting immediately redirected attention from personal power toward the cult's regional threat, Kree. Every director became serious because none of those dangers could be handled through routine patrols. The cult's leadership operated from wrong territory, while recruiters spread among players living across Xiao. Yang Ling declared a year-long special operation to identify local cells before they produced more explosives. Keeping the cultist class secret from ordinary citizens prevented curiosity from becoming free recruitment advertising. Hunting Heavenly Wolf spies remained his formal priority, but cult suppression would receive equal coordination. Crime divisions would investigate recruitment, finances, disappearances, and suspicious gatherings throughout the prefecture. Patrol officers would monitor roads and markets for unusual chemicals, metal containers, or bulk powder purchases. Directors instead received only the information needed to recognize explosives infiltrators and suspicious player networks. Security divisions would provide arrests and armed support once investigators confirmed a target. Yin Rua received operational command because her experience could coordinate the open campaign. Yang Ling planned to step away from daily visibility and intervene only at decisive moments. Yin Rua's open command created a visible target, while Yang Ling preserved uncertainty around his daily movements. The Heavenly Wolf Guard already wanted him dead, so public routines would help enemies design another ambush. Moving into the shadows protected personnel, while preserving a powerful reserve attackers, could not easily measure. That split also let enemies underestimate how quickly the director could appear during a planned operation. The directors accepted that arrangement because Yin Rua could manage operations without weakening Yang Ling's cultivation. Yang Ling also requested enough budget to recruit 100 additional constables and several deputies. Zhang Tai had already calculated the cost and approved the expansion from patrol-controlled funds. Recruiting 100 constables expanded coverage across 2 divisions that had previously operated with limited staffing. Each deputy required a guarantor, whose reputation would suffer if the recruit betrayed the division. The system made sponsorship valuable while forcing senior officers to consider character before accelerating careers. Lin Yan had once guaranteed Yang Ling's entry, and later directors supported his promotions through the same chain. Deputy guarantees linked every accelerated promotion to a senior officer willing to defend the candidate's character. Lu Shan and Xiao Sun had probably staked their names on his current rank and appointments. If Yang Ling turned traitor, their judgment and authority would face investigation beside his crimes. He could now guarantee talented subordinates himself, creating opportunities and personal responsibility at the same time. Yang Ling now understood why powerful sponsors investigated loyalty almost as carefully as combat skill. Yinrua left to design the cult operation, while Zhang Tai returned to the recruitment budget. Departing directors began packing, and crime leaders reorganized personnel around the new priorities. One hidden traitor could damage every guarantor above him and weaken future recommendations from the same chain. Yang Ling kept Medicine Guild representative Wen Kongshin behind for one private transaction. He opened the herb bag reserved under Dai Huanei's old agreement. Wen Kongshin Min recognized that carrying it home had honored a promise that death could no longer enforce. The Medicine Guild transaction demonstrated that leadership did not erase promises made before Yang Ling held authority. The provincial capital offered similar prices, so profit alone could not explain Yang Ling's decision. Protecting Dai's reputation ensured merchants knew his commitments still mattered after wrong spies killed him. Wen Kongshin understood the reserved bag protected Dai Huanei's name more than it increased immediate guild inventory. Wen Kongshin summoned the guild's replacement manager, an elderly appraiser who smelled permanently soaked in medicine. Insight showed ability comparable to Dai's, but weakened by age and a far more cautious temperament. The replacement appraiser's lower value reflected institutional caution after a skilled member died through foreign espionage. The guild had selected someone less valuable because it still feared another foreign infiltration. Negotiations lasted an hour, while the appraiser examined each plant and calculated refinement risk. Every plant required identification, age estimation, quality grading, and comparison with current alchemy demand. Yang Ling eventually received 40,000 taels in silver notes for the entire reserved bag. The guild gained enough margin to reward Dai's surviving family and preserve his professional standing. 40,000 taels represented a negotiated whole bag value rather than a careless payment for unidentified flowers. Wen Kongshin promised that relatives would receive support if they faced financial or political pressure. Yang Ling extended the offer personally, closing the final obligation attached to his dead contact. Dai's relatives gained support because the guild could publicly attribute the profitable connection to his earlier work. He next visited the Martial Market blacksmith, who had produced an earlier knife order. The craftsman presented 1,000 refined red gold throwing knives and collected the remaining payment. That outcome transformed a dead merchant's promise into lasting protection for people he left behind. Each weapon carried far more attack power than ordinary steel, although none matched armor-piercing models. Yang Ling had exhausted his superior knives inside the cave and needed a reliable replacement immediately. Yang Ling's return to the blacksmith restored ranged capacity, lost when every armor-piercing knife left his belt. 10 red gold blades fit his belt, while the rest entered inventory for future assignments. He then produced Qilin iron and requested a crane beak pickaxe forged from the legendary material. Refined red gold provided consistent attack power, making ordinary blades suitable for enemies below elite armor levels. The blacksmith froze before asking permission simply to examine ore from the forbidden cave. He handled it like a jeweler, studying an imperial diamond, and inspected every edge for several minutes. Excitement replaced embarrassment when he admitted lacking the skill to shape such resistant metal. Carrying 10 visibly avoided exposing the full number stored inside his player inventory. Few smiths in Xiao had ever touched Qilin iron, so seeing it still became a career highlight. The craftsman knew of a retired master hidden somewhere in Shangfeng Prefecture. Qilin iron fascinated the craftsman because Ice Mist Mountain had closed for another 80-year cycle. That elder might have worked the material while young and could possibly create Yang Ling's dream pickaxe. The Mining Guild or Mountain River sect offered the best chance of locating him. Refusing the commission protected both men from destroying material the local forge could not even soften. Director Shi's transfer to Shangfeng created a trustworthy official contact in the same region. An insect master from Mountain River sect might also guide Yang Ling after he rested. Shangfeng Prefecture offered 3 possible contacts: Director Shi, the Mining Guild, and Mountain River sect. The information turned a failed commission into a future quest with a specific destination. Yang Ling placed another large order for throwing knives before leaving the shop. A retired master smith became worth finding because no replacement ore could be collected during Yang Ling's lifetime. He wanted hundreds immediately and eventually hoped to secure thousands for sustained ranged combat. The blacksmith lacked enough refined red gold, but offered to commission additional workshops across neighboring prefectures. The additional knife order spread production across workshops, preventing one blacksmith's limited stocks from delaying delivery. Yang Ling paid 10,000 taels, with the surplus covering travel, labor, and material acquisition. The first delivery would contain 180 knives sent under his name to the division. Paying travel costs up front gave the craftsman reason to secure material before other buyers raised prices. Mass production could never equal unique armor-piercing weapons, but quantity solved ordinary battles more efficiently. With both belts full again, Yang Ling planned recovery time at the red gold mine. The future Qilin pickaxe connected Yang Ling's first profession directly to the rarest reward from his latest expedition. Mining remained his original advantage, and now promised access to materials beyond martial society's normal reach. A Qilin iron pickaxe could break harder deposits, survive stronger impacts, and expand every underground option. Mining at the red gold mine could strengthen him between official cases without advertising another martial breakthrough. Before that journey began, trouble grew inside Green Mountain City, while its new director remained away. An informant reported that the Divine Immortal cult had established a local branch among citizens and refugees. Trouble arrived first because Guardian Luo had already built a cult branch while Yang Ling traveled. The cell leader called himself Guardian Luo and promised followers immortality after physical death. Refugees became easy targets for recruitment because displacement weakened family, employment, and local sect ties. People donated money to a hidden spiritual master because fear made impossible promises sound comforting. Promising immortality after death converted fear into donations and obedience without offering verifiable proof. Yang Ling's deputy Qin Qing prepared to question Luo Yu before the organization spread farther. Old Xiao's report gave the division a chance to investigate before the cell launched public violence. Old Xiao, a trusted informant, supplied locations and names connected to the gatherings. The headquarters explosion deliberately interrupted that response and made ordinary followers believe the cult had divine protection. The officers believed they were facing fraud until a massive explosion struck their headquarters. Cracked walls and falling dust spread terror beyond the officers standing closest to the gate. Walls cracked, dust fell from the ceiling, and the entire building shifted beneath the blast. Shrapnel caused deaths that witnesses misread as punishment from an unseen heavenly force. A blood-covered constable stumbled inside with news that the front gate had been destroyed. Cult propagandists immediately linked the attack to accusations against Yang Ling, proving the bombings served a political message. Several iron guards lay dead or wounded after fragments swept across the courtyard. Gunpowder residue destroyed the supernatural explanation for anyone familiar with technology from the original world. Survivors called the weapon Heavenly Fire because they had no concept of manufactured explosives. Lu Yu had learned enough local chemistry to reproduce bombs without importing modern industrial materials. Cult members encouraged that belief, presenting chemistry as judgment delivered by immortal forces. His former inspector position also gave him knowledge of patrol patterns, official habits, and vulnerable public buildings. Qin Qing rushed toward the gate while the attackers disappeared into surrounding street. Expulsion from the red gold mine supplied personal resentment that cult ideology converted into revenge. The office's stone lions had shattered. The steps contained a crater, and one guard died from neck shrapnel. Nearly 200 followers gave Guardian Luo messengers, donors, lookouts, and expendable bodies for risky assignments. By the time Yang Ling returned with Qin Mo, the compound looked like a battlefield. Treating natives as artificial characters removed the moral barrier against killing people who could not respawn. He smelled gunpowder immediately and rejected every claim about supernatural fire. Lu Yu still protected player secrecy because discovery could threaten the outsiders he intended to rule. Someone from the modern world had reproduced explosives exactly as the dead cave cultist had done. His movement therefore combined contempt for natives with fear of native institutions. Learning the truth, witnesses reported propaganda spreading through the city almost as quickly as news of the attack. Guardian Luo's estimate began with levels, because that was the only progression system most players understood. Locals claimed gods had punished Yang Ling for robbing the Snake Gang and abusing authority. He could not see how native cultivation bonuses stacked on top of attributes, equipment, pills, and titles. The narrative targeted his legitimacy, while making the cult appear protected by forces beyond human law. Yang Ling's official level therefore revealed almost nothing about the defense behind Diamond Body. Yang Ling recognized the suspected organizer as Lu Yu, a former inspector expelled from the Red Gold Mine. The miscalculation encouraged Lu Yu to design an ambush instead of disappearing before the new director returned. Lu Yu had reinvented himself as Guardian Luo and gathered roughly 180 followers. Destroying one stone gate proved his bombs worked, but also exposed the chemical signature investigators needed. He treated native residents as disposable non-player characters, while believing outsiders were the only real people. Yang Ling's crater inspection measured threat, without revealing publicly that another world had taught him explosives. That worldview made bombing constables acceptable, because Lu Yu did not consider their lives meaningful. His actual goal extended beyond revenge and aimed at controlling future player populations entering the realm. Lu Jiong's surrender argument attacked morale from inside the exact institution expected to resist the cult. Offering a cultist class could turn classless arrivals into loyal followers before they understood the political cost. Insight found no recent meeting, demonstrating that useful skills still carried Windows enemies could exploit. Lu Yu also warned members never to reveal that players came from another world. Removing the constable stopped the speech, while creating an opportunity to follow him toward older contacts. Exposure could unite native powers against outsiders and destroy the influence he hoped to build. Qin Mo displayed appointment papers, only after Lu Zhong threatened an appeal based on outdated assumptions. His secrecy served personal power rather than any genuine concern for coexistence. The same authority covered city enforcement and prefectural security, leaving the suspect no higher local refuge. Lu Yu's calculations about Yang Ling relied almost entirely on public-level information. Surveillance worked because embarrassment pushed Lu Jiang to seek reassurance from Guardian Luo immediately. He assumed each level granted only a small number of points, divided between strength and agility. That direct movement converted suspicion into proof, without torture, public accusation, or a risky search. Because Yang Ling had entered recently, Lu Yu believed his martial techniques could not have advanced far. Jiang Wei's warning arrived separately, giving Yang Ling a second channel of information about the cult leader. That estimate ignored pills, holy medicine, first-rate arts, equipment bonuses, and the Water Bod's continuous experience. Lu Yu believed Snake Gang hostility could supply believable bait without exposing one of his own followers. The cult leader therefore planned around an opponent dramatically weaker than the real 6th-rank combatant. The gangster Stace understood that bombs could destroy profitable territory long after an official feud ended. Still, explosives remained dangerous because increasing charge size could eventually overwhelm even Diamond Body. Warning Yang Ling protected Jiang Wei's organization, while letting him appear cooperative to both sides temporarily. Yang Ling inspected every crater and fragment before deciding how quickly the cult could manufacture another bomb. The proposed ambush revealed that Guardian Luo preferred prepared terrain over any contest of martial strength. The office blast looked survivable for him, but had already killed an ordinary guard instantly. Multiple charges could attack lungs, ears, organs, exits, and surrounding structures, even without piercing skin. Allowing production to scale would endanger entire streets, storehouses, and division compounds. Diamond Body protected direct impact better than suffocation beneath a collapsed building. Yang Ling assembled all available personnel and demanded a complete account of the attack. Yang Ling therefore respected the weapon despite knowing its maker had underestimated his personal attributes. One constable named Lu Jiong urged surrender, claiming angering immortals would summon stronger heavenly fire. Bigger charges required more powder, containers, labor, transport, and storage, creating additional chances for exposure. His fear encouraged exact helpless obedience the cult needed from local residents. Lu Yu's growing confidence made those logistical traces more likely because he expected another easy public miracle. Yang Ling used insight, but found no recent action connecting Lu Jiong directly to the bombing. The attack also confirmed the cult could move from secret recruitment to open violence without warning. The skill covered only 3 days, leaving earlier recruitment or meetings outside its window. Players seeking classes might overlook that escalation until officials labeled every member part of a terrorist organization. Lack of visible evidence did not erase the danger of deliberate fear-mongering inside law enforcement. Yang Ling wanted the threat ended before ordinary recruits became too invested to surrender safely. Yang Ling ordered Qin Mo to strip Lu Jiong of his uniform and remove him immediately. The cult's foreign links meant captured records could expose contacts beyond Green Mountain City. The dismissed constable threatened to appeal at prefectural headquarters, expecting a city officer to retreat. Guardian Luo might be a local leader rather than the highest authority capable of granting classes. Qin Mo laughed and revealed Yang Ling's new appointment papers before everyone in the damaged hall. Those documents named him acting chief over Security Divisions 1 and 3 at prefectural level. Killing him carelessly could destroy the only route toward understanding the larger organization system. Yang Ling still served as Green Mountain City's constable, giving him authority in both jurisdictions. Leaving him active risked another blast against softer targets, with no reinforced walls or martial guards. Lu Jiong turned pale when he realized the threatened appeal would land on the same man's desk. Jiang Wei's information forced Yang Ling to balance intelligence value against immediate public safety. He left quickly, creating the perfect opportunity to expose whichever faction expected his support. The decision could not rely on level advantage, because explosives turned distance and architecture into weapons. Yang Ling sent Qin Mo to follow, without confronting anyone along the route. Mining knowledge helped him recognize why buried charges and blocked exits could neutralize superior movement. Lu Jiong traveled directly to the cult leader known as Guardian Luo. The same pickaxe that opened mountain tunnels might provide escape if Guardian Luo collapsed a prepared room. The meeting confirmed an internal betrayal, even though Insight had missed the older recruitment. However, surviving alone would not protect bystanders, or officers entering behind him. Yang Ling now possessed both legal authority and a living trail toward the local cell. A careful response needed to preserve civilians, while denying Lu Yu time to increase charge size. Before Qin Mo returned, Jiang Wei from the Snake Gang requested a private audience. Yang Ling's appointment gave him manpower, but every additional participant created another possible leak. Lu Yu had approached the gangster and asked him to become bait for an explosive trap. Lu Jiong proved the cult had already touched local law enforcement, making ordinary mobilization dangerous. The plan used rumors about Yang Ling stealing money to make a confrontation appear believable. Qin Mo remained useful because his loyalty and field judgment had survived repeated tests. Once the target entered a prepared location, hidden charges would detonate from several directions. Yin Rua's broader investigation could identify patterns that one followed traitor and one gangster could not reveal. Lu expected Jiang Wei to cooperate because the Snake Gang had reasons to resent official pressure. The office ruins supplied urgency every time officers passed the dead guard's blood-stained position. Jiang Wei instead considered a bomb-obsessed cult leader worse for business than an aggressive constable. Public belief in heavenly fire could grow faster than technical evidence if another explosion succeeded. Explosions ignored territory agreements and could kill gang members, merchants, and customers together. Lu Yu needed fear to protect a class system whose actual rules remained hidden from recruits. He therefore warned Yang Ling, while pretending to remain useful to Guardian Luo. Yang Ling needed truth, timing, and controlled force to prevent that fear from becoming permanent authority. The information provided a potential route into the ambush, without sacrificing the intended bait. 3 recent gains now converged: martial strength, prefectural command, and experience breaking deadly terrain. Yang Ling appreciated the warning, but refused to treat Lu Yu as harmless simply because the plan was flawed. None guaranteed safety against a bomb placed by someone who studied his public habits. Small charges might fail against Diamond Body, yet concentrated explosives could still shred his internal organs. Guardian Luo prepared for a level-based fighter and ignored the cultivation system layered behind Yang Ling's panel. The cult had already demonstrated enough technical improvement to destroy a fortified stone gate. Yang Ling prepared for a modern thinker willing to sacrifice natives he considered fictional. Lu Yu could increase powder, seal exits, or collapse buildings instead of confronting him directly. Both sides held incomplete information, but only one had already announced himself through a failed intimidation strike. Native followers also made disposable carriers, who might not understand what their packages contained. Jiang Wei's tip gave Yang Ling a brief window before the planned bait became useless. Every delay gave Guardian Luo more time to recruit followers, enlarge the charges, and prepare another public attack. Yang Ling knew the cult had to be destroyed quickly and carefully before the next blast endangered the city.